Arun, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has begun a two-nation tour, while first heading to France and then to the United States of America. During his two-day visit to France, Prime Minister Modi is all set to hold a bilateral meeting to discuss defence, space and civil nuclear cooperation. Building on the close bonhomie shared, French President Macron will also host a special dinner at the Élysée Palace. This will be attended by CEOs from the tech sector and other distinguished guests. The bilateral segment of Modi's visit will provide an opportunity to review the progress on 2047 Horizon roadmap for India-France strategic partnership. Along with Macron, Modi would also visit the historic French city of Marseille to inaugurate the first Indian consulate in France and also visit the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor project, in which India is a member of the consortium of partner countries, including France, to harness energy for the global good. Aditya Vadhavan is joining us for more details on this story. Aditya, has Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in France, and what is his day ahead looking like?
Well, absolutely, Uday. He will be shortly be landed in France. Uday, what has happened, he is expected to meet with the French President Emmanuel Macron and also then address the great Indian diaspora that is present in France. What has happened. Prime Minister Modi has traveled to France for attending this AI summit, which is a very significant visit of his, because considering the fact the AI is penetrating in almost all the important domains of the life these days. So it is very likely that many MOUs and deals will be signed between the two sides when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits France. And most importantly, this visit is important, this AI summit is important to identify how to use artificial intelligence in a sustainable way which will ensure the overall good of the society. We have seen that in the past, that artificial intelligence can be also be mistreated, can be used for wrong purposes also. So it is very essential to address the dangers, also what are the dangers that are related with the AI, and then accordingly address the same. And so that is why this AI summit will focus upon how to sustainably and to safely use the artificial intelligence for human good. Yes, Uday.
Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, a former diplomat, is also in fact joining us now live. Ambassador Goyal, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to touch down in France very, very shortly. We are expecting, of course, a big dinner today with the various tech giants in attendance who will be attending that AI summit, and of course also part of the deliberations in France. What do we expect on this French leg of his two-nation tour?
Well, I think Aditya has already given you the details of the visit and the meetings which are going to take place, including the one on the AI and the meeting on the global goods, etc. All that has been described. I would like to speak more about the geopolitics of the visit, really speaking, Uday, if you permit me. The fact is that there have been lots of changes geopolitically in the globally, and we need to really look at our own metrics of relationship and our own metrics of what we need to do to protect our interests. And given those changes in the world, including in the USA, and where we continuously see disruptive ideas coming through, changing the international order, changing the way we look at the policy framework. France is a reliable partner. France is a very, very dependable. Just really, I was going to use the word ally, even though we don't like to do so. But the fact France has been a partner, has been a friend, a very reliable one. And in that sense, if we have to look at the metrics of our own interests, where we are in terms of both trade and security, France is an invaluable partner in that sense. And therefore, to go to France just before also going to visit the USA does carry the inescapable message that India is not alone, and that India has friends, and that we are going to look at the options available to us to protect our own interests economically, in terms of investments, in terms of defense, and in terms of, shall I say, strategic equations. Uday.
Pathikrit Pine, quickly roping you in here. what does it really say if the France-India relationship, the fact that, Macron has asked Narendra Modi to co-chair this AI summit with him, and also which direction do you believe this partnership, this relationship will head post the meetings that will transpire over the 48-hour period?
Well, it shows the importance of India as number one, a major AI market for the future. European companies would definitely have a very big role to play in the realm of robotics, artificial intelligence, and the fact that India is becoming a major hub for semiconductor manufacturing, the production of chip fabrication rather. But apart from that, there are other major areas where there are strategic alliances, there are strategic partnerships that we have with France. If you look at in the larger context of defense, that will definitely come up in this meeting, because India is on the cusp of signing a new contract with France for 26 Rafale Marine for Indian Navy, as well as 3 Scorpene class submarines, which are called Calvary in India. So that two together will be almost like a 1 lakh crore investment or bid that will be deal that will be done by India. Apart from that, there is a strong possibility that DRDO may partner Safran for joint development of the 110 kilonewton or to 130 kilonewton new engine, which probably will be potentially used for India's 5th generation aircraft. If you look at what was done in this budget, India has created a new horizon for development of small modular reactors, and some major efforts have been made to restrict the Civil Nuclear Liability Damage Act, which was constricting many of the foreign companies from investing in India's nuclear arena. So in that context, there are strong possibilities of companies like EDF and Framatome, which are of French origin. Framatome was earlier known as Areva. They all have interest in Indian nuclear market, with India having a potential goal for having 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy generation per year by 2047. So I think there is a large spectrum of area where French and Indo-French collaboration will definitely work. If you look at some of the bitter experience that India had in the recent past with GE doing all kinds of delay tactics in delivering the GE 404 engines to India's Tejas, I think the possibility of India going with Safran for the joint development of engines, because engine has been an Achilles heel for India, and also the French companies partnering India in nuclear development, nuclear power generation, nuclear reactors coming to India. I think there are huge opportunities. What we often miss out is that there are many French companies in the realm of cosmetics who operate in India. There are major French companies who operate in engineering segment, and I think with the possibility of the conflict or face-off between China and Europe going up on tariff issue, with Europe itself facing saturation in terms of market, I think as has often been in the past, the French companies will be more increasingly looking towards India as a market. And Macron also requires it, given the condition within France, where there are a lot of challenges going on because of the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Cost of energy has gone up, there are economic boosts. So these deals, if they happen, and they are of critical importance for India too, especially of Scorpene, Rafale, the engine, it will help the French economy as well. So I think it's a win-win situation. And yes, France have been an ally without any kind of strings, with no strings attached. They have always been on our side. They have their support has never been conditional. So I think there is a sense of comfort from both sides. Of course, there are certain irritations, that is a separate issue. But I think it's good what is happening. And of course, it will be followed up by the visit in United States. So both United States and France are strategic partners of India. And I think both are going in the right direction. Back to you.
Okay, let me in fact quickly get in Mithali Nikore in as well at this point. Mithali Nikore, what do you believe will be the main aspects on the table in this bilateral between India and France? And also, as far as the AI push for India and the tech push for India is concerned, how big a fillip is this summit and this conference really going to give us?
Absolutely, Uday. Thanks a lot for bringing me into the conversation. I think I fully agree with the previous speakers where we talk about the fact that India has had a very stable relationship with France, over the last decade, and I think today is no different. It's about cementing the friendship, and I think we all might remember the visuals from the French National Day just about a year or a year and a half ago, where the Prime Minister and the a lot of our defense contingent actually joined the celebrations, and I had friends in France who were sending me photographs from that day, just looking at how truly the ties between the two countries have come a long way and remain steadfast. I think some of the areas of cooperation that I'd like to look at and which I expect announcements around is firstly around agriculture and agricultural technology, because if you look at the announcements in the budget, the rural prosperity scheme and the rural infrastructure livelihoods focus which has come in the budget, we really need to look at transfer of technology. We really need to look at tech upgradation, and French agriculture is amongst the most advanced in the world. So I really expect that even high yielding variety of seeds, even new types of crops, a lot of the agri research that is going on in France can be very beneficial to share with India. The second area which I really look at, and which I'm really looking forward to, is of course AI, because on artificial intelligence there's a lot of scope for developing new language focused LLM models. So I mean, they have managed to do this in French like the Chinese did with DeepSeek, and India has to also develop AI models in different languages, like whether it's Hindi or any of the other languages that we have in our country, any of our 18 national languages. So therefore there is a lot of learning in terms of artificial intelligence companies coming into India, especially looking at the language side of it. And the third area which I really expect, which I think we haven't really spoken about, is engineering goods, because the French are known for light engineering and precision engineering, and I think that this is an area which complements the semiconductor industry, as as we just spoke about, and actually we can develop a lot of our capability in the area of light engineering and precision engineering, where the French can be great partners, and India can be a great partner for France in terms of manufacturing capacity. So a lot of areas in which mutual cooperation is possible.
Okay, let me in fact quickly join Gautam Mukherjee in at this point as well onto the discussion. Gautam Mukherjee, as far as, do we have Gautam with us? Okay, I think we seem to have lost that connection with Gautam Mukherjee. But Ambassador Goel, quickly coming to you now. Ambassador Goel, of course, also, as far as our cooperation with France is concerned, which are the areas you believe are going to be, given a further push by India in the bilateral that will be taking place?
Number one, the nuclear energy, the modular reactor, that is a priority for us if we want to have our own energy security. The way energy requirements are growing, and the price factor has been changing, and the pressure again basically on the energy supply chains. Russia is certainly going to face pressures as the Ukraine war. Not coming to it, but Ukraine war is really creating pressures on Russia. China, the pressure is coming on China also. China may be actually having to look at how to revise its own energy sources. And therefore, I think we need to really move more towards alternative sources of fuel. So, nuclear energy. Number two, our own ambition and our policy is to really become part of the manufacturing hub, global chains. And to become a part of the global manufacturing chains, really, we need to have manufacturing processes for all kinds of goods. We need to have investments. We need to have partners who can come with us. And France can be a very useful partner in terms of our own manufacturing activities. Lastly, I would say uh, I think, no, I have covered basically this really. Everything else is a part of it. So, energy and manufacturing investments. That.
Yes, as far as of course now AI and technology is concerned, how much effort has been made in Pathikret trying to, harbor this for our strategic advantage, as of course the push in the world begins to emerge to these, futuristic sectors. How much progress has India made, and how much can we cooperate with France and of course the other giants who will be present in France for our benefit?
Well, I think some announcements have been recently made by Honorable Union Minister Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav. Quite a bit of work is happening in the realm of AI, and the recent disruption from China in terms of certain major breakthrough in AI shows that it does not require massive investments. It can be done, and there are major opportunities for India to leapfrog, and that's perhaps one of the major reasons why India has been asked to co-chair this entire summit that is happening there. But the biggest problem with AI is that there is no global regulation for that. You can just make any fake video and go away with it. It can make stock markets fall. It can put armies into disarray. It can create civil conflicts. It can create anarchy. It can create riots. It can create problem with the faith that people have in their own governments, and therefore some kind of regulation is required. I sincerely hope that this summit, this issue of regulation and the conditionalities, the checks and measures should be brought out. And if we fail to do that, then AI would have a very, very counterproductive impact in the long run. We must remember that some of the people who have been at the forefront of doing research and founding AI have already quit some of the major organizations where they were working, saying that AI would invariably, eventually be very, very dangerous. So I think while we require AI, the regulatory aspect of it, the checks and measures of it, and where to draw the line, those things I hope will be discussed in this summit, and some regulations are brought out. India would definitely have to take the lead in this, because we are a vibrant democracy. We have a free media. We have free internet. What happens is that it is much easier in a country like India to create chaos with fake narratives, with fake videos, where AI can play a devastating role. And therefore, I think India, Prime Minister Modi becoming the co-chair gives us a wonderful opportunity to push the necessity of having regulation for AI, because you cannot control the internet beyond the point. Either you completely shut down internet, or you bring regulations for AI. Otherwise, we are heading for a very, very inventive, prospective, exciting, as well as very disruptive future, devastating future. So I think this is an opportunity. Let's see how it moves forward. Back to you.
As far as, of course, now this cooperation with France is concerned, they are a very important defense partner for India, aren't they, Mitali? And we can, of course, expect further cooperation to be discussed. But also, interestingly, space also on the table this time. We are going to be looking at further space cooperation with France too. We've seen India, of course, make huge strides in this particular sector in the last few months, isn't it?
The most important thing is that India has proven that they can actually carry space loads, and they can launch rockets, and they can launch, space instruments, and they can launch missiles in 1/6 or 1/8 or even 1/10 of the cost when compared with European countries, and when compared with the US, and when compared, except for maybe China. We offer one of the most value for money propositions when it comes to space exploration, space research, as well as collaboration on space, the spatial economy, if you will. So I think that is one area of joint space research and exploration where India and France can really cooperate. And of course, when we look at our defense budget for this year, the defense budget has actually increased by almost 15% this year, and India looking to source a whole bunch of orders coming in from France. And I think that is going to be really one area where strategic MOUs may be signed, and some decisions may be made. But more than this, I actually agree with Ambassador Goyal, that there is a need to look at renewable energy. And while, of course, I agree that nuclear energy would be the number one priority, I also feel that, the collaboration with France offers a huge potential for collaboration on wind energy, because wind energy is one area in which France has done a lot of research and has also developed prototypes of several models and technology aspects which can be deployed in India. The kind of windmills and the kind of wind efficiency that is coming in from some of the French companies is really something which India can benefit from. And while not so much on solar, but I think on wind, again, is another promising area to look at when we are, looking at renewable energy with France.
Yes, quickly now, going back, of course, across to you, Ambassador Goyal, you had spoken about, the fact that nuclear cooperation is going to be discussed, of course, and is on the table in that bilateral. But what is very interesting is that Prime Minister Modi is also going to be visiting the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor Project, in fact, in which India is also a member of the consortium of countries while he is in France.
Absolutely, Uday. You see, if we really begin to look at the components of the relationship and the cooperation with France in deep, we will find out that France has been with us in our own nuclear energy experimentation, exploration, as well as in terms of the new ideas. In that sense, we have got from France sometimes, in fact very often, what we didn't get from the other countries. While there were actually fears, there were reservations in terms of working with India, there has been no reservation from France whatsoever. So in that sense, our cooperation with France in experimental reactors, our cooperation with France in terms of alternative nuclear technologies, new technologies, is very, very important. And we have found France much more forthcoming than many other countries in that sense. So what is happening tomorrow really is a continuation of the same. But as I said earlier, right in the beginning, also making it very clear that where we lack where we lack technology cooperation from others, there are countries who are prepared to come on board with India, and that's a very, very powerful message.
Absolutely, it is. Surinder Singh Lali, in fact, international affairs expert, has also joined us now live. Surinder, as far as, of course, now this bilateral is concerned, what are your key expectations from it?
Pleasure and honor for me to be here, and what better country and what better time to be in France and co-chairing it, because the AI is in its pretty much formative stages now, and the way it is, with the American profit-making model and China state control, the one that comes with trust deficit, I think this is India's moment. As much as we've done with being the pharmacy of the world during the COVID, this is our moment to create our space and create AI where it is affordable, accessible to not just the global south, but to the entire world, because that's what we've been known for. So I feel that it's a great time to be there, and it's a great. This forum is great too, because unlike the previous one in England, this is pretty comprehensive because there are all stakeholders also in it. I mean, the industry, the people, the government. So I have a feeling that there will be a fantastic outcome.
Yes.
With such a comprehensive.
Okay. All right. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion. We're slipping into a short break.